Hi, this is Math, and I'm kinda worried about the future of P5X. P5X recently reached a new low on Steam, citing criticisms against the P5 Gacha spinoff for things like unfairly treating the global server, compensation and rewards not being enough to match the fast-paced patches, and future standard characters not being included in the pool after their debut. So does this mean that Persona 5 The Phantom X is a massive failure? Should SEGA start shutting off the lights on Blackwing Studio and direct P Studio to focus more on Persona 6 and other projects? Will we never see the end of Wonder's story and his phantom thief of desires? Actually, no. Despite all of these concerns, P5X managed to exceed the expectations of its developers and publisher. This gacha game is earning so much money that SEGA invested more on its operation. They believe that P5X will continue engaging the fans with the universe of Persona games as well as attract newer players. No matter what has been happening in the global and JP server, it seems that Persona 5 The Phantom X will never fail. And here's why. But before that though, if you want to join Meroped doing silly poses, then like this video and join Otaka Define for more Persona content.
これで決めるヨハンナフルスロットル
With my past few videos talking about the situation of P5X Global, you might be asking now, is the game going EOS? Well, today I'll speak more positively about P5X and why SEGA is confident with the game's performance despite the concerns that it is facing. Granted that they've addressed some parts of the issues in 1.2, but what we got in the 1.3 livestream left others confused. Are they just now ignoring the pleas of global and JP fans? Is P5X trying to sweep these issues under the rug? Will we ever see Marion in the standard banner before the half anniversary? And can Anderson save the game from eternal damnation? Now, while 1.3 seems to be just riding the waves of the previous patch, it did came earlier, considering that Queen Makoto is the only nuclear DPS in the game, and her elemental property is related to the real-life anniversary of Japan's observation for what happened in August 6 and 9. Thus, P5X had to release the patch earlier to give proper respect. And it's also the reason why the livestream is much more different. It's not because P5X Global is just trotting along players' concern, but rather they were dealing with time constraints, with the subtitles even missing for parts of the stream. Now, I might be wrong in this one, and maybe P5X Global really does feel like there shouldn't be any changes made despite the rallying cries from fans. But SEGA won't totally ignore those pleas, especially since Persona has become this massive IP that is as big as their other series, matching the success and popularity of Sonic the Hedgehog, and is now even growing further similar to the Like a Dragon series. And that's the biggest reason why despite everything, P5X won't simply fail. The Persona series in itself is now an icon in the genre of JRPGs. If you think of turn-based games, chances are you're going to be looking at these three games: Pokemon, Final Fantasy, then of course, Persona. Even in non-turn-based games, as long as the title has jazz music or features Shibuya or parts of Tokyo, there's going to be a comparison being made to Persona 5. P5X, as much as Doom posters don't want to admit, is actually successful. Perfect World, the publisher of P5X in China and Korea, recently announced that the game has earned 1 billion yuan. That's roughly around $140 million, which is the same amount of money that Metaphor managed to earn for Atlus. So to say that P5X is failing in China is a massive misinformation. Granted that a lot of people were basing their claims on Sensor Tower, a digital platform that measures the revenue of mobile apps. They do have a history of delivering inaccurate data, and the best way we can interpret their information is on how much impact does mobile users have on a certain gacha game. And remember, the 1 billion earning was only for the Chinese version. It's still unknown whether or not Perfect World included the earnings of Korea, and Taiwan's version is actually being published by another group, which means that this number might be be even higher. P5X, despite the initial rumblings of other people, is doing pretty great. Now, this number might seem not that much compared to Hoyo games like Genshin and Star Rail. This game should be considered an outlier. Looking at the data for other normal gacha games, this revenue is already considered successful, given the fact that P5X is being produced with a significantly lower budget, as the game reuses a lot of assets from Persona 5, and even their collab with P3 reuse a lot of assets from Reloads. But despite the recycled materials, P5X still managed to make something refreshing, such as their own spin on Tartarus, making it a roguelike game. P5X palaces and mementos, as I've discussed before, are much larger and introduce new mechanics. This is another reason why P5X isn't dead yet, despite everything, because at the end of the day, it's still a very much fun game. P5X's greatest strength is its gameplay. We can all agree that P5X is a fun Persona game that if we remove the gacha aspect and sell it as a single-player title, it can perform evenly or may even exceed other spin-offs like Strikers, PQ, and the dancing games. The revenue alone already proves that. P5X brought something new in the gacha market, and that is the actual content of Persona games, which a lot of JRPG fans love. And this exact Persona formula is being experienced by newer audiences who in turn now became Persona fans, which explains the recent spike in the number of gamers playing Persona 5 Royal, because after trying P5X for free, they ended up loving the gameplay loop of Persona games. And that is another vital reason why P5X won't go away despite everything, because it serves as a marketing tool for SEGA to reach new markets. And it all makes sense given that they have this multi-year plan of Persona projects, starting with next year's Persona 4 revival. They're making sure that existing players are still invested in the Persona series as well as attracting newer ones, in the hopes that when Persona 6 eventually comes out, yes, I still think it's going to release despite the complete silence, it can surpass the debut numbers of Persona 5, because that is how much they believe in the power of this franchise. And that is not me who's just saying it, that is exactly what is being reported on their data sheets. Persona 5 Phantom X far exceeded the expectations of SEGA. So much so that they have tasked Blackwing Studio to hire new people to help in their development of future content for P5X. Recently, they're looking for new character designers. The studio even promised more fluid animations together with additional content. And we can already see how much the skill animations have changed, from C's members having unique skills animations apart from their TRG, Berry and Summer Marian introducing new mechanics and again, special skill animations. P5X is very much alive and it's not going away anytime soon, so you shouldn't worry about what Doom posters are saying. However, this doesn't erase the fact that P5X Global still has to deal with the issues of the game. 1.3 livestream can be excused due to the lack of time, but the 1.4 needs to address their final decision regarding future 5-star standard characters, especially since PB is debuting in that batch, who is also another Phantom Idol who will join the standard pool. If SEGA and P5X Global is really keen on delighting the global and JP fans and attracting newer ones, then they need to finally change their decision regarding the standard characters and let them join the pool after their patch debut. As I've said before, they can potentially earn more if they include these characters in the standard draft, since players are more incentivized to spend on the standard banner aside from the premium one. With 1.3 wrapping up, I do hope that we can finally see P5X regaining the trust of the fans, so that we won't have to worry about its future. For now, I'm stocking up on my meta jewels since Cord will surely come in 2.0, and maybe that will also be the patch when we can pull for Marian and other 5-star standard characters. If you're curious why, then check this video out. Join Ataka the Fine for more Persona content. This is Math, and stay awesome my dudes.